Uh, I made a video previously, but I was very disappointed with the response I got. Even though in the video I tried as hard as I could to be very objective, I did three things. I tried to point it out. First of all, I tried to demystify the problem in South Africa. And then I tried to point out the danger of single story, of narrating the problem of South Africa. And then lastly in the video, I pointed out the solution and what the people need to do to make the nation progress. So I had a backlash. Some people inboxed me with threats messages to my life, and some people think I'm a sellout because I'm a black man and I'm speaking in favor of the white people. I wouldn't say I spoke in favor of white people. What I did in that video was to be realistic about the entire situation and to understand that we're in danger, the human species is in danger. So I'm not interested in single story. Now, this is the backlash I had from three different categories of people. The first group were the alarmist. Those are the white alt-right group. People like Lauren Southern and Stephan Molyneux, all their group. The alarmist, I call them, because they are calling an alarm that there's a genocide currently going on in South Africa. And in everything they're trying to do is a very single story and a very biased information they're giving. They try to put out information publicly outside there for people that could be able to see, watch on Facebook and YouTube, anywhere, that there's something going on, which is not entirely false. So, and then there are those other group, the Africans, the Avengers, I call them. They want vengeance and they want their land back. They want restoration. So some of them feel that the world, which word did they use? They feel that the word is actually restoration. So I watched the debate, the entire debate, as a witness, as a neutral personality. So I watched and I listened to the white group. I watched and I listened to the black group, the Africans and the African Americans. And all of them were giving a very biased opinion. Nobody did justice to the entire issue. Nobody was able to identify the real problem of South Africa. The white spoke in favor of the white group. The black spoke in favor of the black group, which I found it ridiculous. What we are having in South Africa is a very special case. It's not about white or black. Like I stated in the previous video, it's a very simplistic way to see the entire problem. It's very complex. So now I told them that it's not a racial issue. This is this is an economic issue. It's a social issue. And it should be addressed as such. Because once we miss the target of our problem, we miss the root cause of this problem, we'll be misled, we'll be governed by sentiment, and then we'll provide very absurd solution. So the people, the white group, the white Caucasians, the alt-right, and those that are speaking in favor of the white group, of the white farmers, are suggesting that the land should not be seized, that the land should not be restored to the natives, that the land should remain in the hands of the white minority who are farming it. And the blacks are saying, no, we want the land back. Fine. In my personal opinion, none of them is right. None of them is right. Now, this is what will happen. If the land remains in the hand of the few minority, the white, the problem will continue. Poverty will continue, and there will be growing concern, and people will come out to voice out the injustice that is going on, and eventually everything will just burst out and there'll be fight, civil war, and the country will just collapse. Or even worse, financial crisis by the globalists and the people that will come around to sabotage the country because power was taken from the minority. So, and again, if the land is taken from the minority and give it to the majority, course, the riches will come in, and probably riches, people will start farming the land, and probably they might be contented, or there will be a huge total fiasco in the system, so that the people that the land is being transferred to will not even know how to cultivate it, and there will be a failure in the land. So what will happen is that there will be shortage of food in the country, and export will reduce, because here I go to stores here for grocery shopping. Most of the times I see fruit coming from South Africa and different kinds of things, wine and all those things, and I was proud. So this is what will happen. So the minority, the white they will feel threatened, and then they would say, okay, they want to run abroad and take their expertise somewhere else, and then we end up with a very huge catastrophe, humanitarian problem in the country. But I personally don't want that. I love white in as much as I love my black people. I'm not here to speak with sentiment. I simply want to provide solution to the problem of the nation that there is to be solved. And in order to be able to do that, we have to look at it objectively. See, white people think black people hate them. But in reality, no, it's not true. I will speak to you as a witness and somebody who lives through all the stages of blackness. I went through the stage of religion and then abandoning my faith and changing everything and growing from hating white to loving white, from loving white to try to understand that white people are also victims of themselves. See, we understand that slavery happened. We understand that there have been centuries of humiliation, which the result is the hatred that black people have against white today that we see. So black people did not wake up automatically one day and started hating white people. It was a cumulative result. It was something that happened constantly, the humiliation, the disparaging, the set down, all those things, all the negative things that made them to develop this hatred. And there are sincerely and honest black people today who think that the world would be better without white people. This is a very dangerous idea, because they are suggesting that white people should be annihilated, which is similar idea to Hitler. Now, I think those people are not better than the people they want to annihilate, because an injustice was committed, and the only way you want to pay for it is to commit another injustice. I don't think so. I don't think so. And then there are those people, some group of people, majority of black people today do not hate white people. They have a profound admiration for them. Why? I will tell you this. Because of Christian religion. Christianity made some blacks to even consider white as gods, because the portrait of Jesus Christ is being painted as white, and some of them are intrinsically incapable of conceiving God that they worship in a black man's skin. So some of them see God as a white man, because that's how it has been portrayed, the angels and everybody. There is a squirrel here. They're playing. Very cute. I can't show you though. Sorry. So yeah, some of them actually see white people as gods. So it's a very interesting perspective. So I'm telling you that the majority of people, blacks who espouse the Christian religion, this is the idea that they have about white people. So they don't have any hatred toward white people at all. The people who hate white people for what they did and not for who they are. They don't hate white people because of their skin color, or they think they are inferior to them. No, they just hate what was perpetrated in the past history. So if these injustices are being corrected, some of them will be healed. Now back to South Africa. There was an injustice. Mind you, the black and the white were having a very symbiotic relationship before the power was taken in 1994. Just 20 years old, or 20 something years, or 22 years now, the power was taken away. Good. Some of them were in indentured slavery. So the relationship wasn't very rosy. So, and after the apartheid, the black community, there was no mass therapy. There was no healing. Some people were still left with the bitterness. Some people were left to educate their children in a certain way. So I tell you, some of these problems need to be solved medically and economically. Some of them feel disadvantaged. Some of them don't even feel the effect of the end of the apartheid. They think they are living in apartheid. So in the past video that I released, I made mention that do not underestimate the power of a disgruntled population. I tried to explain that so many great kingdoms, the Mesopotamian civilization, the Greco-Roman civilization, the Egyptian civilization, all of them, none of them is still alive today to testify how long they last. So in that video, I tried to point out that no group of people hold power forever. Even the Caucasian group now, you will see, even with recent civilization that we experienced, the British Empire, how the power transitioned to America. And even right now, there is a transition of power to China. People will keep denying it, they will deny it, but it's happening. So it's happening because the Chinese people took responsibility, they took steps to decolonize themselves, they took matter into their hands. So it's unfair and unjust for the black people that are blaming white for every bad thing that happened to them. All they need to do is to ask themselves one single question: if the white people are so evil, what have the black people done for themselves to be able to move forward? It's pretty obvious that the suffering that black people went through is unique. It's different from any other struggle. It's different from anything any group of humans have experienced in this world. Because they did not just went through physical slavery, but they went through spiritual, psychological slavery. When I say psychological slavery, I mean by your ideas, your mode of thinking, your mode of the language. Even now, as I'm speaking to you in English, is completely replaced. Even your gods are replaced with foreign gods. So it's not just a physical rape, but a psychological rape. So it's a program. It programmed the black mind to be incapable of thinking independently, because their ideas, their way, their perspective, their culture have been replaced. So now there are few black people who we are aware of this problem, and they try to fight, they try to correct some of these things, but some of them we are stopped by the white people who saw the danger that they were trying to create. So now the black people will say they tried their best, but apparently their best wasn't good enough to liberate them. So there is still huge work to do on a collective sense, not on the individual sense, because individually some of us are woke. We understand the system, the global system. We understand how some of these things are operated. But we need a collective system of education that could be able to sensitize the people and help them to understand that hating white people will not help either. White people are a group of people, a group that are struggling to survive. And the world is governed by predation. You have to prey in order to survive. It's the law of the jungle, the survival of the fittest. If you're strong, you're well armed, you fight for your survival and you secure the future of your children. It's simply what the white people are trying to do. They are not doing it because they hate us. They're doing it because nature demanded it. They have to survive, they have to secure the future of their children, which is apparently understandable. Fine. So they did all these things, and them themselves they are victim of some of their invention. The war, the First World War, the Second World War, and so many inventions today that's causing cancer among people and so many things. They are victim of all those things. This is not to vilify the white people. This is just to state the fact that we humans we trap ourselves sometimes, and it becomes even worse when we have a single story, a form of single story to narrate. So when black people just sit down and conclude that they are being hated by the white people, and the only thing they can do is to just hate them, it's not going to help anything. So the coming of white people into Africa is not entirely bad. If we're going to be honest and be very objective with ourselves, we will see that they came in with some good things. They changed our mode of building. They brought in different languages. I'm proud today because I'm a polyglot. And they brought in different way of dressing. And they brought in different mode of transportation, different mode of communication. These are some of the good things that came with white people, which is very impressive. And we have to be realistic and to admit that some of these things helped the advancement of the global system. Some of these things too are a danger to us humans, which is very true. So we have to acknowledge that some good things came in, some bad things came along with it. So sitting down and blaming white people for every single fault, everything we're going through is not a very charming thing to do. So what should the South Africans do? I still want to reiterate it right now. Like I stated in the previous video, it's not a race issue, it's a social economic issue, and it should be solved as such. I proposed that 40,000 or 50,000 blacks should be trained. The white farmers should mentor them. They should mentor them, transfer skills, give them loans, let the land be shared equally so that everyone will benefit. Do these things, announce it in the national television and tell the entire population that this is what the government is doing. I'm saying this, many people might feel bad. Many people might say no, they want the entire land back. I'm telling you, it's an unrealistic dream. It won't happen. Because you're trying to deny certain group of people their rights too. Like I stated in the previous video that I made, I say white people have lived in that land for so many centuries. Their ancestors bled in the land fighting war to preserve the nation, to build the nation. Together, you people constructed the roads, the houses, the bridges, the concrete and everything, the tiled road and the tiled street, the schools and everything. So now being dispossessed of some of those things is one of the most painful things you will see. In order to avoid these things, first of all, you must be able to purge yourself of the greed that you have in your mind. Keeping the entire land would not do any justice. And I'm trying to use this medium to call upon the people who think that giving a single story, a single narrative will help people to sympathize probably with the white and then probably hate the black and refuse the distribution of the land. No, it won't help anything. So Stephan Molyneux, I'm talking to you, and Lauren Southern. Listen and listen very carefully. Stop the single narrative. And any other person involved who's sympathetic to any other group, either black or white, stop it. It's an economic problem. It's a social problem. People, once they have their basic amenities, food, and a place to sleep, water to drink, and they feel that the future of their children is safe and secured, they worry less. They live happy, they go to bar, they drink, and there'll be less of protests in the land. Give them these things, give them the basic amenities, and you will have a very peaceful country. So returning the land back will not solve the problem either. There's nothing that Trump can tweet or the globalists can do. If we try to disenfranchise the South Africans, we're trying to harm another human species. I feel painful because these are our brothers, these are our sisters. So when humanity progress in general, it should be something that should call for us to rejoice. So do not sit down and feel as if, hey, it's just a black problem, I'm white, I'm safe. No, the world is safe for no one. The world is not safe for anyone. And if you think you can go to Europe when there's a problem in Africa, Europe is not safe either. There are a lot of things that are going on right now that should force us to come and reason together. The humanity, we're threatened by natural catastrophe, the climate change. You didn't ask yourself what happened to the dinosaurs. Where are they? Now that we're finding bones, they all disappeared. What happened to them? Evolution. Natural catastrophe came in, boom, and everybody disappeared. Kingdoms failed. So white people is just normal for you to understand that you will not hold the power forever. So come back to your senses and share the wealth with the natives. Do this. The hate, the fight, the protests, the anger will vanish. And then you join hands together and build a nation. And I also stated this in the previous video that I made, that I'm very disappointed because the ANC government is supposed to provide some of this solution. But instead, they are just there pushing the ideas that the land should be restored. Although they are not saying that the land should be confiscated, but they are saying that they're trying to restore the land to the natives. But how would they do it? First of all, there must be a skill transfer. You are happy that the white people are there. These Dutchmen, they are very resilient people. They fought so many wars. They fought against the British Empire to retain that nation. Very resilient people, very beautiful culture, very beautiful language, good music, beautiful people, blonde babies. So it would be a pity to see this group of people disappeared. And for the Afrocentrists who are apocalyptic, the third group I was talking about, I say we have the alarmist, and then we have the apocalyptists, those one who think that the white people, the world will be a better place without white people. Some people who hold some Afrocentric ideas. So, the extreme Afrocentrists believe that the world will be better without white people. I want to tell you today that you're living in error. White people are very beautiful people. It's just like a zebra telling a cow that, look, the world will be better without you. So it's as simple as that. See it that way and we'll be fine. So people first of all have to realize that it's an economic problem and tackle it economically. And I left a warning in the previous video that I made. I said that in the video that so many kingdoms failed and no group of people keep power for a very long time. There's nothing you can do. No bullet, no walls, no confines, no UN, no any organization will help you to escape the wrath that is coming in the future. You see UN is having problem. You see the US, they left human rights organization of the UN recently. They left the organization. So many Western institutions are crumbling now. People are losing confidence in them because corruption have crept in. So nothing will save you. No war will come in. No amount of arms, no amount of poison of vaccines and poison of food and water will save you. If you try to annihilate the black people in South Africa through poison and other stuff, you have the rest of the billions of Africans to deal with and black people all over the world. They will descend on you with anger. And likewise the blacks. If you try to say, okay, you want to push the white out, you're calling for damnation upon yourself. You want to enjoy the country alone. There's love, there's beauty in diversity. So the only thing that can save that nation is for you to join hands together and build the nation together. Decide that this is an economic problem, this is a social problem, and it should be resolved as such. Resolved as such means the division of the land, the transfer of skills, and make sure that black people are also empowered equally with the white people, so that there will be equal distribution of wealth. Don't amass too much wealth for yourself. It's greed. You won't live more than 100 years to enjoy this land. And the funniest thing is that white people are motivated to do these things because they want to secure the future of their children. But if you don't do this thing, if you don't share this wealth, your children won't even have any future. The people will grow more and more angrier. The poverty will continue. People will become more disgruntled. They don't have food, they don't have houses, no water to drink, and they are afraid for the future of their children. It will push them to do crazy things. Some of them will come in, snatch you out of your house, they will drag you by the hair, they will kill you, take your life away from you, take your property, steal your guns, steal your television, your water, and the future you're trying to secure for your children will be thrown right under your face, and probably your children will be harmed too. To avoid that, I still want to stress this clearly, that it is not a race problem. It's an economic problem, and it should be addressed as such. The earlier people realize this problem, the better it will be for South Africa. Don't think you're safe because you're white and you have houses and blocks and concrete that can protect you. No, never underestimate the power of a disgruntled population. And also remember that history has proven that no group of people stay in power for a very long time. There's always an end to everything. There's enough land in South Africa to take all the bodies and they will rot on the ground. So to secure your future and the future of your children, call into the blacks, call into the whites, sit down on a table, negotiate what Mandela started. Negotiate, share these things, share the wealth. And to the people who are busy promoting the one side of the story, trying to call for sympathy for the white people and try to create brouhaha for the nation, you're not doing the country any good. You're only creating disunity. And people will pay for it. Because a lot of people, anger won't help people. We're trying to avoid anger. We're trying to avoid civil war here. I urge all the YouTubers, all the popular YouTubers, Stephan, I still call your name Stephan, Lauren, stop all this disunity, stop all those ideas. Human species is in danger. And many people don't realize this. We're destroying the world, we're destroying ourselves. There's enough land to take us on. There's enough food for us to eat and share. We can intermingle with each other. That's the best thing we can do. So many black people are consumed by anger today because of the history that we share together. It's not their fault. Black people are not inherently, people of anger. They don't hate white people. It's just a situation that demands that they do like that. So prove to us, those that are angry, that it's wrong to be angry. Show some level of humanity, come to the table and negotiate the future of this nation. Wherever you are, white people, anywhere, in South Africa, in Namibia, Zimbabwe, anywhere you are, prove them wrong. Come to the table, negotiate the future. Be human enough. You see, white people, there's this white man that came in with a gun and came in and started shooting, mass shooting. He didn't shoot black people, he shot them. So many white people were there, they were shot dead. So we're all capable of committing heinous crime, both white and blacks. So violence, it's not just your monopoly. Every group are capable of committing this heinous crime. To kill, to destroy, anger, hatred. We're humans. Let's realize this. Build a nation together with love. Save humanity. Save the land. There's enough 1,000 hectares of land that will take our body when we die. Save the future of your children.